Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between, welcome to another episode of the Chaps Chat Cats. My name is Jake Botel, and I'm joined in the Zoom studios by the one and only Johnny Larkin. How are you, Johnny?
Pretty good. Excited for the game coming up. Very excited. I'm good. How are you going this glorious, cool summer's day?
I'm awesome. Can't you just feel autumn like creeping around the corner? I can start to see the leaves changing. There's a bit of winter's chill in the morning and in the evening. It's nice, isn't it?
It is fantastic. Much better than stinking hot weather. Although it was pretty humid today.
Yeah, it was in
hopefully
parts.
Hopefully that goes away soon. But yeah, apart from that, all good.
Excellent. Well, we've got not long left in the AFL women's season for the Cats. Just the 3 games, including one later today against the Tigers. Not at Kardinia Park. We're on the road to play Richmond. Just 3 weeks left in the season, Johnny. It's flown by. We've obviously got the men's season around the corner, and we'll take everyone right through as that. They start their pre-season today as well. So, big stuff, Johnny.
Absolutely.
Big stuff.
Big stuff. Big stuff indeed. Still, the season not long enough. They still need to play each other once. But make it a fair, even competition. Because at the moment, it's not that fair. It's not that even at all.
Absolutely. I predict, and I'm sure we'll talk about this in the AFLW off-season, and I guess to an extent later in the year when we're in that period of time where there's no footy happening on the field. But I predict that this is going to be a big season of change for the AFLW with all the stuff that's gone on this season with player injuries and, teams forced to play, games in the heat. It's all sort of feels like it's coming to a head with the introduction of, 4 more teams. It feels like there's going to be a big push, obviously collective bargaining agreement coming up as well between the players and the AFL. I feel like this is going to be a massive season of change for the AFLW, and I'm hoping that it'll be all change that swings for the better.
Absolutely. I'm hoping for good change, fair change, and a good step in the right direction. Hopefully, that's all we can hope for is another step in that right direction.
Some of the
moolah, a bit of that
for the players,
a bit of that, and and also a bit more games for the girls. I feel like that's what they want more. If they want better, I won't say better quality footy because it's still fairly fantastic quality, but if they want that quality to improve year in year out, the only way they're going to do that is by more games. So,
well, and if
an easy fix that.
If the AFL wants players to commit to a longer season and more games, then they're going to have to pay up because you can't expect. I mean, what the current situation is not good enough anyway. So I'd say it'll be a big off season of change. That's my prediction.
But as players already taken 6 weeks off to play football unpaid.
Wow, I mean, and I mean more than that, for some of them, I mean, it's a crazy commitment.
And when they do introduce more teams, more games, people won't be able to afford to be able to take more than 6 weeks. Like I don't know how they're able to afford to take 6 weeks off in the first place.
And we can, as I said, we can get into this in the off season, but we just have to move. We have to move beyond this idea that that's a normal thing, that they should have to take time off another career to play another career. I just think it's time for big change. But let's get into it. A reminder that we did a 15-minute video show, players for the AFL men's team. We're most excited to see this preseason. Now, half a dozen of them not being selected.
All of them in, did we?
No. We didn't get that many, but there's some. It's still worth going having a look at. So go to our YouTube channel, the Chaps Chat Cats on YouTube, and have a look at that. But the matter at hand, John, pre-game. This is our pre-game show for the AFLW Cats v Tigers, 5:10 p.m. this afternoon, Saturday. Now, the Cats were downed for the third time in 3 games, ending their mathematical chance at a finals appearance, leaving them with just the 3 matches to continue their development as a squad under new head coach Dan Lowther. For the Tigers, they've shown promise this season, but will still find themselves on the outside looking in. Their record is currently sits at 2-5 and sees them sitting 2 games behind Collingwood, who currently hold that sixth and final spot. The Tigers would have to win out and have a plethora of results go their way in order to sneak in. Now, we've seen the Cats' defence. It's been the most miserly outside of the top 6 teams, giving up just 222 points in 7 games. Richmond's attack has been the 5th most potent in the AFLW, racking up 279 points in their 7 games. Can Geelong take advantage of the Tigers' backline? Will the Cats be able to withstand a Richmond attack that has piled up 68 points in its last game against the Eagles? Johnny, what are your initial thoughts on this game between the 1-6 Cats and the 2-5 Richmond Tigers?
Well, I think our defence can hold up fairly well. They've held out really well against better quality teams. Mm-hmm. And I think they'll do the same again this week, but it's just down to that forward attack. We've harped on and on about it, the movement inside 50. If we can fix that up, I think we'll win. Not comfortably, but I feel like it'll be a good hard forward win. I feel like Tigers are going to come into this game with a bit of energy about them, a bit of anger. They want to have that chance of getting to the finals, where the Cats, we don't have that luxury. We've just sort of got that bit of pride on the line so we're not done and dusted this year. We're not just because we're outside the finals. We're still here to upset other people's chances. But I think that doesn't give us much fire in the belly as, say, a chance that getting into the finals would give you. But saying that, I feel like the Cats have got the defence, the midfield to hold up against the Tigers. It's just a question about our forward line structure. Can that hold up against this Tigers defensive unit? Which hopefully, fingers crossed, they can. And if they do, I think we'll come away with a win.
Yeah, absolutely, Johnny. Couldn't agree with you more. We'll dig into some more detail about a couple of elements, but first I'll just give the viewer at home some stats. Now these are the Cats and Tigers stats per game this season. So the Cats currently averaging 189.3 disposals. That's 13th, so second last in the competition. 103 kicks, which is last in the competition. 86.3 handballs, 6th in the competition. So I think the Cats, from memory, are the closest to 50-50 handball to kick ratio in the competition. Tackles, the Cats, 67.6 tackles, good for 3rd in the league. The hitouts, 17.1 per game for the Cats, last in the league. Free kicks, 4, just 14 per game for the Cats, which is last in the league. They've scored 23 goals, 27. So that's 46% of their scoring shots as goals. Flip over to the Tigers. The Tigers, 200.3 disposals, 9th in the competition, 115.4 kicks. So they're second from bottom in kicks. So the Cats and the Tigers, the two fewest kicks per game in the comp. The Tigers, 84.9 handballs per game, which is 8th in the league. Tackles, 50.1, 12th in the league. So big disparity there in pressure between the Tigers and the Cats. Yeah. But consider that the Tigers have had more of the ball, so maybe less time to spend tackling. Hitouts, Tigers, second bottom in the league with just 17.9 hitouts per game. Free kicks, the Tigers rank 7th, so a good 7 spots above the Cats. They get 17.4 free kicks per game. And finally, they have scored 41 goals, 33 behinds, converting 55.4% of their scoring shots to goals. Johnny, the first point I want to address with you is I want to talk quickly about ruck, because we should get into some of the ins and outs for the AFLW team. So out go Zali Friswell and Reen Karras. And in come Laura Gardner and I believe Madison Maguire, off the top of my head. I thought I had the document pulled up, but I don't have it in front of me. I'm pretty sure Madison Maguire and Laura Gardner are the two who come in. Now,
Yeah, I believe that is correct.
having a look, Johnny, at those hitouts, which is very even, the two worst teams in the comp for hitouts, Kate Darby has been named the starting ruckwoman for the Cats. How do you think we go here? What do you think of this move? We talked on the last episode of the podcast on Monday about how it's sort of been this, a two-woman competition between Karras and Fuller to see who could establish themselves. Neither have been able to. And so now the Cats rolling without either and going with Darby. Do you like this move?
I think it's a bit out of left field, and maybe that's what we need.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not against it. I do find it is an interesting move, but maybe one that will put a few Richmond people off guard, going, why have they gone this route?
Mm.
Maybe we're just deciding that ruck isn't the end all, or maybe Kate Darby has shown a bit more skill, a bit more talent in that ruck area, and can get us that first look in that midfield. So it'll be an interesting one to see what happens, because it is an interesting, fun move. I feel like it's a daring move. It's sort of that move where we know we're not going to make finals, so why not play around a bit? It's got that vibe about it. Seeing what if this will work.
Well, I wonder too if it's a little bit of a a zig when you might expect them to zag, in that you haven't really been able to establish any sort of dominance in the ruck. So you're carrying a specific ruck, in your team, in Fuller or Karras, and you're finding you're not getting a massive impact out of that anyway. So it's sort of like, well, we've got a chance. We can keep Darby in the side. We can bring an extra midfielder like a Laura Gardner, into the team. So, we've still got Liv Barber who can pinch hit in the ruck. You've still got Phoebe McWilliams who can pinch hit in the ruck. So you're not short on options. Maybe this just frees the Cats up to be a little smaller and have a few more midfield reinforcements in the team, and let Darby sort of go at it in the ruck a little more, given you're not getting any sort of drastic advantage out of it anyway.
Yeah, maybe they've identified that Richmond's midfield defence might not be as strong as ours, and if we get that extra midfielder in, maybe we can expose that on them a bit more, and hopefully it works out. Hopefully it's a great move. We get a second win on the board. That would be fantastic. But I feel like it's a bit of a fun, risky move. Just as I said, chucking it out there, going, let's see how this works. Got nothing to lose. Play around with the magnets. Barber's back. McWilliams is playing really good football. She is starting to play really well in that sort of midfield attack area. So what's there to lose? We're building still. So
absolutely,
why not?
Absolutely,
try a few things out.
Kate Darby's been in career best form as well, so good opportunity for her to have a go at the ruck roll on her lonesome. Want to talk, Johnny, about pressure rate for the Cats, and specifically as it relates to pressure versus free kicks. So all of the talk this offseason was about applying more pressure and attack on the footy for Geelong. The Cats have done that in spades. They jumped from 8th in the competition last season. They currently rank 3rd in tackles per game in 2022. It was a massive leap from where they were last season and the season before. But while the pressure has flowed, the rewards haven't for the Cats. They rank dead last for free kicks in 2022. How frustrating has this been for Geelong, do you think? How much of an impact it makes, Johnny, that they're able to, they've been able to bring the pressure. They haven't been rewarded with as many holding the ball free kicks as you would like. Like it's really been like getting blood out of a stone. How important is it for them to focus and keep bringing that pressure tonight against a talented and aggressive Tigers team? Like how important is it for them to put that frustration and disappointment behind them and just keep sticking to the process and trusting that the results will come?
Fairly important, and I feel like it'll be really tough because last week we saw fantastic tackles where players would get caught dead set holding the ball, and umpires would just call play on. The opposition would get it and get out of the fence, get it out wherever they needed to go really easily. And then you see Cats players get tackled in the same manner, or there's a bit of that question mark about it, and it still goes against the Cats. It doesn't help when those sort of things happen where you put all that pressure on you, tackle hard, you get told, if you tackle well, you tackle legally, get them when when they should be holding the ball, you get a free kick. It just doesn't come. That would get frustrating. That would get a bit like, what's the point in putting on all this pressure if they can just like basically drop the ball, or when another player can just run up, rip it out of the teammate's hands and go run away with it. I've seen that a lot as well, where players will just somehow take it off the teammate while they're being tackled. Like, how is that disposing of the ball properly? So when you see that happen a lot throughout the season, we're just not getting those reward for the great effort. It sort of starts going, well, do we need to put in this amount of effort in the tackling if we're not going to get rewarded, while other teams who do very similar amounts of pressure acts and tackles get rewarded much better? Like, what's the difference? And I feel like they've got to try and put that behind in the back of the mind and just go out and do it again. It's going to be tough again because I don't think it's going to change. Hopefully the rules change where it is easier for the umpires, because I do feel like sometimes it is a bit tough for the umpires to decide if it is holding the ball, but then other times it's pretty much easy choice to make and they still make the wrong choice. So I feel like the girls just got to focus, do what they're doing. Hopefully awards come, but if they don't, just get back on the horse, because it's tough. It's a tough one to think of, how you're putting in all this effort and you're getting nothing out of it. So hopefully they can put it out the back of the mind. I feel like they have. I feel like they will.
Yeah.
But I feel like the goals need to come.
Yeah, and speaking of goals, we'll talk about this Richmond firepower now. The Tigers have conceded plenty of points this season. Their defense hasn't been exactly watertight, but up forward, the Tigers have taken the ball inside 50 on 174 occasions, returning a score on 74 of those entries, meaning that Richmond scores from 42.5% of their forward 50 entries. And when they score goals more than half of the time, 55.4% to be exact, registering 41 goals and 33 behinds from 74 scoring shots. Contrast that, it's a great return. That as I said, third in the league for goals scored, the Tigers, behind only, I think, Fremantle and Melbourne. For the Cats, they've taken the ball inside 50 on 146 occasions, scoring on 34.2% of their entries inside the forward 50. But when they score, they're doing a decent job, the Cats, of returning a goal. So 46% of their scoring shots have resulted in goals this season for the Cats, which is well up, I would hazard a guess, on last year. Now, Johnny, we've badgered on all year about the Cats needing to up that rate of scoring per inside 50, so that's nothing new. But how important is it tonight for the team to limit the entries of this powerful Richmond attack? We just talked about pressure. How important do you think it is to try and stop this Tigers team getting the supply inside 50? Because as stats have shown, once they get it in there, they will kick goals on you.
Well, yeah, when you lay the stats out basically bare like that, it's hugely important. I feel like that's where it's going to be won and lost, is that Richmond's ability to get inside 50 and score nearly every time. That's a really impressive ratio they got going. So I feel like it's going to be, the defense is going to be able to be on their absolute best, which I think they will be. I think they'll be able to handle it. But it's just that thing of how much can they take before it's sort of the dam wall starts to break. And that's where midfield and attack, they need to sort of step up as well. So if our attack steps up and we get inside our forward 50 and we can hold it in there, that relieves midfield, defence, gives them time to reset that structure. So yeah, I think it's going to be the main. It should be the main focus. Hopefully this week is that stopping that Richmond forward attack. Because if they don't, I feel like Richmond will win. But if we're able to limit their ability to get inside 50 and score easily, then I think we'll go a long way to getting a good win. But yeah, it feels like Richmond's all about attack and attack and attack. There's not much talk about the midfield or defence. So it's sort of going all in on that attack and not much else on everything else.
Well, yeah, and specifically, I mean, I know the times that I've watched them, which was the first game they played of the year where they mauled St Kilda, and as I said, they put up 68 points on West Coast last weekend. They are a little bit like their male counterparts in that, you know, they're moving the ball on at all costs. They're a lot like the Cats in the sense that their kick to handball ratio is much closer to 50-50 than other teams. This is a move it and swarm kind of attack, and they play some really attractive footy when they're up and about the Tigers. A player to watch, Monique Conti, for the Tigers. Absolute engine room of this team. She averages 24 disposals per game, which is 9.3 more than the next closest Tiger, Gabrielle Seymour. 15 contested possessions per game.
Seymour!
That's Seymour! So 7.5 more than the next closest Tiger. 5.6 clearances per game, which is 2.5 more than next closest Tiger, Sarah Hosking. 6.1 tackles per game, 1.2 more than the next closest Tiger, who is second, Sarah Hosking. Has a team leading 362.7 metres gained per game, 41.2 more than the next closest teammate, Maddie Shevlin, and a team leading inside 50s with 25. I mean, it feels like this is a tag job. We need to get someone on Conti who can try and limit her influence, because she is the absolute key cog to making this Tigers team go. Would you send, who would you send like to her? Julia Crockett-Grills or someone?
Maybe Monty Kearns, just get her hip and shoulder about a bit.
I like that a lot.
Have Monty Kearns focus on her. She's a big lass.
Yep.
She'll be able to hurt her, make her feel every bloody touch of the ball she gets. Right. So I feel like you don't want someone to just tiptoe around and then sort of tackle them when they need it. You want someone to try and hurt them. I feel like Crooked Rules can do that, or Monty, one of those two. I feel like they will really want to limit her and just dent that confidence, because I feel like with those stats, her confidence would be sky high.
Yeah.
And you got to bring her back down to earth. And I feel like that the only way you can do that is hip and shoulder in her. As soon as she touches that ball, just harass her constantly. Don't let her get an easy touch. Because by those stats, it seems like she's a one-woman team.
Well, I tell you what. Well, yeah, in a lot of categories, she's really the. It's funny, they talk sometimes about thermometer players or thermostat players. You know, the thermometer player sort of sits at about the temperature that the rest of the team does. It seems like Monique Conti's the thermostat who changes the temperature of the team around her. Speaking of individual players, though, cats to watch. I've got one player to watch. I'm going to say Laura Gardner for me, who's back into the team. She had limited opportunities last season, limited opportunities again this year. She was one that I said to buy stonks in. I'm still holding on to my stonks. I'm not selling. I think, I'm not panicking. I'm not trying to jump off my Laura Gardner stonks. I think this last 3 games, tomorrow's a big opportunity. This evening. What am I talking about? This evening is a big opportunity. We're not recording. We're not pre-recording this.
No, not at all.
We've done so well the whole show. Laura Gardner, massive.
Don't give away just yet.
Yeah, that's right. I don't think anyone noticed. Laura Gardner, massive opportunity against the Tigers to try and win a spot for the last couple of games of the season and hit the ground running for next year. What about you? Have you got a player you're keeping an eye on in this game, Johnny Larkin?
I've talked about her a little bit, and I'm going to go with Kate Darby. I feel like in that ruck position, I feel like she'd be one to watch. See how she goes in that ruck position. See what she can bring to the team. See if she can win the hit out camp for the Cats for once, and hopefully give us that first crucial look at the ball. I feel like it's going to be very crucial to get that first touch on the ball in that centre bounce straight up.
Straight up. I agree. The last thing, Johnny, we've got through it. We've got 5 minutes left in the show. Let's touch on the Chaps Chat Cats 3-man fantasy competition right now. We've got some lineups to give to you. Sambo has rung the changes with Zali Friswell going out. He's put Meg McDonald back into his lineup. So Sambo's lineup looks like this. He's got Becky Webster. He's got Meg McDonald. He's got Darcy Maloney. He's got Liv Barber. And he's got Kate Darby. Zali Friswell and Geordie Ivy sit on the bench. Myself, I have Maddie McMahon, Amy McDonald, Nina Morrison, Phoebe McWilliams, and Monty Kearns. Now, I did contemplate putting Julia Crockett-Grills into the side as I kick my microphone. I did contemplate putting Julia Crockett-Grills into the side. I did contemplate picking up Laura Gardner. I've stuck with an unchanged lineup. So that's how I'm going. Do you have your lineup in front of you, sir? Or I can read it.
Yeah, I do.
Yes, you do?
No.
Go for it.
I've got it right here. So I'm going with Chantal Emerson in defence, with Georgie Prasparkas and Georgie Rankin in my midfield. The Georgies. I've got Maddie Kerrick as my flex and Chloe Shear in my forward line, while there's Featherston and Chloe Jaka stay on the bench this week.
Absolutely. Nice lineup, Johnny. It's narrowing down.
We've all got excellent lineups, I must say.
The last 2 weeks since we did the great redraft have been closer. We've had...
Have they? I feel like last week it was 130 to 109 or something.
Well, last week was a little bit different, but it's definitely been closer. The scores have been tightening.
Your smile on your face is otherwise.
I'm still winning for now, but I feel like the week is coming. We've got...
Well, man, Sam, I've only got, 3 weeks left to go to topple you.
That's right. But then we've got the whole AFL men's season. We're going to do this game again. We have to do this game again. I've enjoyed the 3-man.
We have to.
Fantasy.
We might have to do a 2 redraft with the men's, since there's so many games to get through.
Yeah, that's right. We might have to do two. Yeah, we'll divide the season up into thirds. Do a draft at the start. Draft, third of the way through the season. Draft 2/3 of the way through the season. Something like that. All right, that's it. That's the whole show.
Get ready to watch the Cats.
Yeah, enjoy the game this afternoon. The men's obviously playing their pre-season match as well, so have a look at that on KO. All of that sort of thing, where we're in the midst of a football feast. We're going to go from the women's straight into the men's season, and then roll on through to October. Couple of months off, and then we'll do it all again. I mean, this is just the show that never ends.
The off season as well.
That's right. No break for us. We've been going at this for an episode a week for over a year, John. How are you feeling? Are you fatigued? Are you still enjoying the experience?
Not fatigued one bit. Still enjoying it immensely. Talking about the Cats football team. How can you not enjoy it?
That's right. There's not many
people listening to our bullshit
about
as well.
That's right. It is. It's good to know there's people out there. If you are listening, if you are watching, make sure you give us a subscribe on YouTube. That'll notify you, when we go live for events and that sort of thing. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, so that the episodes magically pop into your app. Tell a friend. That's the most important one. If you're enjoying listening to the Chaps Chat Cats, tell a friend. Let them know about the show. Until Monday night / Tuesday morning, go Cats!
Go Cats!